Welcome back, everybody, and thanks again for being with us on KXAN News at 4. Now, we are experiencing some nice temperatures right now, but this morning was actually the coolest of the fall season for much of our area. KXAN's Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannin dug into those temperatures. And Nick, when do we typically drop into the 30s here in Central Texas?
Well, many areas have already dropped into the 30s.
Oh, nice.
In fact, Austin's Camp Mabry was one of the few places this morning that did not. Look at this map, Will. There's that 40 in Austin. Everywhere else on the map, 30s. So Austin at Camp Mabry, which does typically run warmer because it's closer to downtown and the urban heat island effect, just about avoided 30s here. And we have yet to reach the 30s in Austin yet this fall. And now most other areas clearly have. And we even had some light freezes in parts of the hill country early this morning. Even Lockhart, San Marcos, Blanco getting down to 32, Giddings as well at freezing here this morning. So a light freeze spread out and about, but yet to reach the 30s in Austin. Our average first 30s at Camp Mabry, and that's the 30-year average from 1991 to 2020, is November 13th. So that's 2 days from now. So we're very close to the typical first 30s, 30 to 39 degree night here in Austin. You can see when we've had our first 30s over the last few years. Last year, we had to wait until the end of November. The year before that, we waited until the end of October, so it was kind of early. 2022, just near average there. 2021 was a little late. 2020 was early. So October, November, pretty typical for our first 30s at night, but we have yet to this fall. And will we have any opportunities for doing that anytime soon? Well, no, because our nighttime lows tonight are going to be way warmer than they were this morning thanks to a southerly breeze. And then it gets warmer still on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, warmer too. And there's not much signs of cold early next week either. So we're now going to see that because we didn't drop into the 30s this morning in Austin, that our first 30s of the year are going to come later than normal. Of course, on KXAN.com, we always dig into Austin's weather data, keeping track of the cold, the heat, the rain, and the sun. That's under the Weather and Traffic tab, and you can click on Explore 2025 weather data there. All right, let's show you what it looks like from our Lorenz and Lorenz 360 cam from Westlake Hills, looking toward Austin, where we've got full blue sky and sun. In fact, wherever you look, it is sunny here today. Really pleasant afternoon if the wind didn't bother you much. 70s across much of Texas. We do have some 80s though, and those 80s are going to start to show up here tomorrow. So a southerly breeze tonight is going to keep our temperatures way up over last night. Low 50s, some mid 50s by tomorrow morning as you're getting out the door. There could be a few upper 40s in the hill country, but most of us will be starting in the 50s instead of the 30s. That's quite the 24-hour temperature change from morning to morning. By midday tomorrow, upper 70s, and then we'll come in the low 80s here in the afternoon. So afternoon highs tomorrow are going to be close to being a full 10 degrees warmer than this afternoon was. And then as we get into your Wednesday evening, it will be warmer still with many more of us in the not just 50s, but upper 50s and even a few low 60s to start Thursday. Thursday afternoon should be warmer too. We're thinking mid 80s on Thursday. What about rain? When are we going to get some of that? Well, we've got high pressure overhead now, preventing any rain from getting here. That high starts to settle off to the south and east, though, and at the same time, we'll be watching an area of low pressure digging into Southern California. The track of this low is going to be key to whether we can get any rain or not. If it moves too far to the north, we won't get much, and that's unfortunately the trend here this afternoon. Our best chance of rain, though, is going to come as we get into next Monday. So Saturday and Sunday, tiny rain chances. Monday, slightly higher rain chances, still not great. And then we're probably back to being dry here by next Tuesday. So don't get overly optimistic about this weekend's rain chances anyway. Overnight lows tonight, though, 52, clear skies. Day tomorrow, sunshine, 83, not as windy, but still breezy. Wind out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. So you can see what the rain chances look like then this weekend. I have knocked them down in many ways, and our cold front that looked like it could have been here this weekend may not get here until Monday or Tuesday of next week. It's still 80s every single day. Rain chances do tick up slightly on Monday, but back down to 10% here on Tuesday. Hey, our KXAN Friendsgiving Challenge continues, and the morning team are catching up to the evening team. And of course, we would really love your help. Wherever you donate, the money goes to the Central Texas Food Bank, but the morning team have won 4 of the last 5 years. They have played a lot of coming from behind the last few years too, so don't think that because they're behind now that that's where they will end up. So we really need to build up a lead here for your evening team. Go to KXAN.com/Friendsgiving or scan that QR code and make sure you click Team Evening. The Central Texas Food Bank really needs our help.